Okay, welcome to Phnom Penh, which of course is the capital of Cambodia. And here we are in this Lux Hotel in Phnom Penh, which has an amazing view from the 10th floor. So here you'll see the Tonle Sap River. I hope I did not butcher the name. And across is the Mekong River, and the Tonle Sap River flows into the Mekong here. So this is actually a gorgeous location which we have here for this pretty cool city. And there's a skyline. You see an interesting mix of old and new. If we walk a little bit to the other side, we get a view of the city. Very striking. This is also something I've noticed in Vietnam, that there are a lot of these very narrow buildings. So if you look at the width of these rooms in the building we are looking at now, it's probably 2.5 meters wide. This might have something to do with how properties are divided up. And here, when we look down, we have a couple of girly bars. So this was quite striking that there are lots of these in the touristy areas. I'm not judging, to each their own. And when we look on the other side here, there is a very modern skyline rising, and there is really fancy looking buildings, and there's more construction. So a lot of these places in Southeast Asia, the population is growing, the economy, at least in parts, is booming. So there's so much construction in the cities. Interesting place so far. Everybody is really cool and friendly, and we're gonna check out the Royal Palace, and there's a pretty temple which I have high hopes for in Phnom Penh. What we have here, there is a gigantic flower on the seaside boulevard in Phnom Penh near the river. Nicely made, to be honest. There's a mix here, there are like people enjoying the morning, doing some exercise, but there are also quite a few pretty decrepit looking street people, kids without pants, and there are a bunch of drunk foreigners who don't look too good here at 8 a.m. This is Wat Onalum. I hope I'm pronouncing this properly. A nice temple in Phnom Penh. I don't know.
Me today, you had the appointment?
Yeah, we have a plan already. Thank you though, I appreciate it. So, hello, Miss Cat, Mr. Cat. I hate cats. So this country is interesting, and people are super nice, but it's very different from Thailand and from Vietnam where we just were. And this is like landlocked Philippines. So you have street people, you have the power is still above ground. You see this massive inequality. There's this large new BMW parked in front of the Starbucks, and then there are people who are clearly really poor. So interesting to see all of that. Pigeons. Very pretty architecture. It is quite striking, very beautiful. Well, I'm all in favor of that actually. So what did the tricycle driver Hawker tell you? Did he tell you that this facility is closed?
Yeah.
Why did he tell you that?
Because he wants us to go to the
with
other
him instead. So he
museum.
tried to scam us. So somebody almost successfully scammed the Filipino, huh?
Filipino scam.
So these are parts of the royal palace complex. How pretty is that? You know, gorgeous architecture and all this gold and these saturated colors do really well in this bright tropical sun. So, you know, what an aesthetic pleasure besides the cultural value to look at this. So this is something I need to do at one point, learn more about this Hindu, Buddhist theology, mythology, but just, you know, the fantasy, the creativity which went into these depictions of these deities is stunning. I love it. What an aesthetic palace. So this looks much more like a French colonial Art Deco kind of place, which the royal family probably used. Interesting to see all these different styles amalgamate here. Here there is a miniature version of Angkor Wat, where we're going to go this afternoon. Yeah, more amazing architecture here. Look at all the detail which went into this. So at the end of the Royal Palace complex there's an exhibition of historical photos of the personal history of the king and of the struggle for national independence of Cambodia.